How could you do this to me? I love you. How could you treat me this way? I cry out in disbelief as I watch the priest turn his back on me and walk away. He seems to feel nothing about what had just transpired. We had engaged in the devil's work, according to the Catholic Church, and I am left devastated. The baby I had just birthed is whisked away, never to be seen again by me. I know what its fate will be. My sister nuns have rejected me for my indiscretions. I know they are secretly envious of this forbidden love affair, but I never anticipated that the Father would reject me as well. We knew that the love between a man and a woman is divine, yet he is choosing the dictates of the church over his love for me. Deep in the background, a voice intoned, "Gently bring yourselves back into the room." As I slowly opened my eyes and left my reality, I was confronted with another world. What? Where am I? I found myself seated in a circle of friends, unsure if this was reality or an illusion. And that was my first introduction to my main spirit guide, Jonas. I wasn't sure if the real me was in the 1800s or in the 21st century. I had just been guided by my psychic instructor into another lifetime to meet my spirit guide. And I had done that, and it was a shock. So obviously, I'm going to be speaking about spirit guides today. We are all bodies living in our spiritual beings. We are not spirits living in a body. Our body is the embodiment of our spirit. So we live within that spirit on this earth in the vibration that is earthly, unless we raise that vibration to another level, which is what I had done in this meditation, was go into a higher level of vibration where I viewed another lifetime that I had. And this was certainly a shock to me that I was introduced to this man who while I was there, I really felt like I was there. And it took me at least a couple minutes to really re-embody myself in the 21st century. So we speak a little bit more about spirit guides. We all have spirit guides, and these beings that are in spirit are people, if you want to call them people, who we connected with when we were in spirit before we incarnated. And these spirits or souls know what we decided to do on earth and what our path was and what our our challenges would be. One particular guide will be with us for our whole lives. And this for me was Jonas. Now, Jonas started to present himself to me after this as a little purple dot in my left eye. And if he particularly wanted to talk to me and I wasn't paying attention, it would flash. And I'd finally have to say, "Okay, I hear you. I'm listening." Okay. So they often are just, we don't even know that they're there. Of course, we don't always know that they're there, but they are part of our soul group. And the way I have learned is that spirit guides are beings who we have actually experienced in body, whether we've experienced them personally in body or whether they have just been incarnated and lived an earthly life, maybe with or without us. That's to be debated individually. I'll just let you know that this passage that I read is out of the book Gems of Time, which I wrote recently about my experiences in past lives and others' experiences with past lives. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that experience. When I came out of it, somebody in the group told me that there had been graveyards found with the skeletons of dead bodies, basically in convents in France, which seemed to indicate that what I had experienced was actually something that happened. Now, I realized because I looked at this, what was in this particular experience, and I thought, isn't that interesting? Because at the period that this happened, I was actually trying to get pregnant. And I thought, wow, is this a reason or one of the reasons why I was having trouble getting pregnant? And I also began to look at what else could be getting in the way of me getting pregnant. And I realized that because my mother was deathly afraid of me getting pregnant when I was a teenager. And she was on top of me. Every time I went out on a date, she was there at the door. I don't know if any people have experienced that as well. I don't know if that still happens anymore, but my mother was very, very uh, careful with me. Anyway, I actually never did have a child. And I think that I was being guided. I really felt like, I really do now feel like I was not meant to have children. I was meant to go into my spiritual development. And maybe I was, maybe it was something else, but I just felt that it wasn't meant to be. At some point, I knew it wasn't meant to be. And, there are some people that are not meant to have children. Some people, there's another reason for their life, for their life's purpose. And I think that I was guided to continue to experience more of my psychic development and less of feeling of having to look after a child or children. So that was possibly is what happened. It's possibly one of the reasons I saw that particular vision with Jonas, because since then I've had other visions with Jonas, which he could have used to introduce me to him, but he didn't. So that was the one that was chosen. We have many spirit guides throughout our lives. I had another spirit guide named Wendy, who introduced herself very early on in the psychic classes that I was taking as someone that was there to give me kind of an introduction to this whole new world that I was going to go into. And I didn't see Wendy a whole lot for a long, long period after that. And then when I was writing my book, Gems of Time, she recropped up again. And we had some very interesting conversations about how we had been together in Egypt. So let's look at it this way. We have a whole soul family that we are connected to. And both of these particular spirit guides are connected to me in that soul group, soul family, if you want to call it that, which is separate from our earthly family. Now, my spirit guide Jonas has been with me my whole life since then. I mean, he tells me he was with me from birth, but my experience started with that particular vision that I had. And I cannot tell you how much help it has been to know that there is spirit watching over me and helping me and guiding me through this life and towards the goals that I had actually set out to achieve in my life this time around. And I'm still working on it. I mean, this YouTube channel is part of that. I feel like the world, as a lot of us are waking up and raising our vibrations, there are still a lot of energy in the world that needs to be moderated from a higher level. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to connect with other people to do that with. So let's help those who are moving us towards more peace, less judgment of each other, and more joining with the collective of love. Okay, thank you for being with me today, and I hope you'll come again. See you next time. Bye.